Did I hear that at least one of the bodies in Harrisburg, the House did approve
Yes.
a budget?
And the Senate side is supposed to reconvene next week. So we'll be hopeful that see something goes through next week.
We will wait anxiously to hear, and if we're not already, start contacting Mr. Mao and Mr. Mastriano. All right, and for a special athletics update, Dr. Becker.
So Mr. Alasakis was nice enough to provide me with some information that he would like to share. So the fall season, athletic season, as we know, believe it or not, is already winding down. And our student athletes have made the district very proud of their effort and determination, success across all the sports. Fall season of competition has brought us highlights ranging from big wins to outstanding individual performances. So Mrs. Johnson gave me a great segue for some of the things that we had on here. So on the golf course, as she mentioned, so Littlestown athletes really excelled, and we have our two gentlemen that did a great job for us. They took place in the York Adams golf tournament, where Mason Peart was first and Landon Boston was second. Distinguished themselves in that tournament. Both of them moved on and took part in the district tournament, where, as she mentioned, Mason finished in first place. Landon was one slot from qualifying for the state tournament. Mason, if you're a golfer, as I am, finished in red figures, which as a sophomore in high school, he shot 70 and 73 at a par 72 course, finishing 1 under, which is exceptional. I'm not going to play him anytime soon. He's got me right. So Mason's going to be competing at the state tournament on October 20th to 21st in State College. So he is our first district champion in golf, and that's fantastic, especially as a sophomore. I can only see him continuing to do better. Field hockey, senior standout Reese Rucker achieved also an extraordinary milestone as she scored her 103rd point. This reflects her individual talent and dedication, but also the strength of the program as she's continued to help shape that program and what is happening with that team. So it was kind of written as we were speaking, they're competing, but since then I've got the updates. So they were competing this evening at Northeastern against Kennerdale and won 6-0. So they won their first round of the York Adams League tournament and will go ahead on to the semifinals. So they just played Kennerdale at Northeastern, now they play at Kennerdale against the winner of Susquehannock and Red Lion, and it's convoluted. They'll be at Kennerdale on Wednesday to play against either Susquehannock or Red Lion. So we wish them luck moving forward on the tournament as they get through that first round, which is great. So I suspect they're going to be the only smaller school that would be in that bracket after that first round as we enter semifinals. District tournaments, as we move into, once we get through the league tournaments, the expectation of field hockey and volleyball to be competing, hopefully with the opportunity to be hosting events here at the building, and that information will come out as soon as we're aware of it. So stay tuned for some details about some of our young ladies competing in district championships upcoming. So clearly we are all as a community proud of all the student athletes and how they're representing our school, both in victory and in the way they handle challenges. So I don't know if you were at the football game this past Friday, but it's always fun to get a win against Stallone in football or any sport. But it was a lot of good moments in that game. It was well played, very competitive game, appropriately handled, and was proud of both sides and not want to be watching, to be honest with you. It was a great game. That's why you go out and you do that. It was a fun one to watch. So we are proud of them and things that they're doing to show a lot of pride in Littlestown and what they're doing on the field. So we look forward to celebrating more moments this fall as our students athletes continue in postseason and continue to make us proud. We hope to share some news of some great performances in districts, maybe some district championships, as we move through the end and into the nearly approaching parts of the winter season, which will be in November report. So that is sort of Mr. Alasakis' report that I adjusted based on some of our new news.
Dr. Becker, could you explain just briefly, I thought, I was at the game Friday night. It was especially gratifying to beat the Squires and send them home to the holy city of the loss. But my question has to do with the student body storming the field. As long as it's in a structured environment, the YAIA does allow that, and it's okay that, once they shake hands and so on, to be able to do that. I think it's great, and it's great for school spirit. I was just wondering if there's anything regulating that.
That is a cowbell thing that I've learned is what was explained to me, Dr. Barron was here as well, as being something that has happened for several years.
Yeah, there's a long-standing tradition that occurs.
So tradition, I was looking for the word, was escaping me. It's a tough one to come up with, apparently. So yeah, I had some questions myself when I came, and my first home win, they were looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, what are you doing? They were like, well, this is what we do. And I was like, I don't know what. So I had some questions with that as well. My big concern, of course, that I was trying to explain was keeping them that we are not close to the teams as they're finishing. So I think it's fun and the kids have a great time, and I don't want to strip enjoyment from the circumstance as long as we're not doing anything to put kids coming across who just had a tough loss like they did at DeLone in a weird situation where we're running through their lines, and that's something I want to make sure that we're respecting the team that just came, and we're running out there because we had a good result. They did not. So I think it's difficult. We don't want to put a 16-year-old in a position where they're upset to have to react to something. So I think that's important to me to make sure that everybody understands that. That's what I would speak to.
For what it's worth, I thought it was done in a very classy way.
Yeah, they were against the side. That's my concern. I don't want to take away tradition and fun either. So that's balancing the two.
Any other questions for Bill and AD, Dr. Becker? All right, thank you very much for providing the report in Jeff's absence. On to the regular meeting draft agenda. Steve?
Okay.
Oh, start minutes before that, then?
You have questions about
Oh,
it?
no, I have huge issues with
Did you send anything?
that. I won't do that, that's deliberating, we do that in public meeting.
That's not.
It is deliberating, because we're having back and forth. Because, as Carl said, everybody on the board has to decide, you can't deliberate outside of public, so it'll be best if we do it in public meeting. We are deliberating when we speak on emails, yes, we are.
It has been the previous request to send those to Carrie so that she can make.
And then the board was supposed to approve them, that's deliberating. But
Hold on, we'll ask Dave.
If you have suggested edits to the minutes, my understanding of the process that was discussed is you send them to Ms. Muller ahead of time so she had them and considered them and didn't have to work with them during the meeting here. But of course, I mean, that's an email between you and one individual, it's not for the board, and I don't think any deliberation occurred. Also, we would then discuss them here in public. That's my understanding of the process that we discussed, just to make this more efficient when we review the draft minutes.
But the thing is, theoretically, if you send it to her ahead of time, some of these issues could be resolved so that we don't have to have a.
well, the part, and I agree with you, Nick, but here is the part I have a problem with. Originally, when, and I say that old board member Carl Thompson said this, he said that we were all going to decide as a board whether we were going to change it now outside of the meeting, and I'm like, no. We can't do that. So that's why I bring them up in the meeting, because even if I do send them to her, and let's say you don't want to change it or you don't want to change it, then it becomes deliberation. Then we have to still carry it to the meeting anyway and talk about it. So we best off just talk about it in the meeting. That way we, because it's a workshop, decide we're going to change them in the meeting. But we're going to do it anyway. That's the whole point. We're going to discuss it. And discuss it right here.
If there's not a quorum of the board, it's not deliberations. I think if there are minor typos or things that Ms. Mummer could work on in between, that's not the board deciding, it's not a deliberation unless it's a quorum of the board, and the board's not deciding it until the next board meeting. But I guess if you have concerns with the draft minutes as presented, now's the time to hear it.
I thought we had talked before about sending those ahead of time to the,
What Dave's just saying, if it's not typos and stuff, if it's
Yeah.
got issues, so
Right.
if anything, you can see that. So,
Yeah.
go ahead, Joy.
Well, Don, did you have a?
I did have my hand up, but that's okay, I'll wait.
Go ahead. You have,
Wayne
who's yours?
was, Wayne,
I'm recognizing Don.
what's the final answer? Can I talk?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. So I have a couple questions, and I'll apologize in advance, because this is my first round with this particular board. The financial presentation, is on the minutes for October 7th, I believe it was. But that was actually in a full public meeting, under,
Audience property.
Okay, there you go. And so those documents should be public, at least by now, because the meeting's already happened.
You know, once the minutes are approved, they will be.
We have to vote on it
We
first.
said we have to vote that they're accurate before we
So
can
you
make them
vote,
public.
not on the minutes, the actual documents of the meeting. So in other words, like, I don't want to pick on Mr. Showbaker, so please don't take this personally, I'm just going to use that as an example, because that's what I'm talking about. So his presentation, it was very good. But the public can't access those documents, even if they come to the meeting, and even after the meeting is over. Now, I'm not talking about the minutes of the meeting, the actual documents of the meeting. Are you following me? Okay, okay.
You mean the finance property supply, like, agenda?
Not the agenda.
You're talking about the ones that are, like, the minutes.
No minutes.
So your question is about why the finance committee presentation
Well, I'm
is
just,
not accessible now.
you're almost there with you. We're working, we're doing good, okay? So my question is, why do we, as a board, not allow what I consider public documents? Because the meeting has already happened by this point. These are not minutes. These are documents that the committee meeting has already had, the meeting
His
is on.
slide presentation.
Right, but you can't access them.
Right, that's, I'm just trying to
Okay,
narrow
okay,
us
we're
down
good,
to the
we're
same
good, we're
document.
good, we're good, we're
So
good.
you're asking about,
Yeah.
because that's the link to the minutes, and so when the minutes are approved, that link will be there. But typically, the practice has been that presentation is linked to the agenda. Is there a reason why that wasn't this month?
It wasn't finalized. Yeah,
Okay.
there's no work in progress until 4 PM at a 5 PM.
Okay. So I
Okay,
just
so
think
that's
that
not
for
the only-
general practice, I think that going forward, we'll aim to make our best effort to have that at least 24 hours out.
Okay, but that would be great, thank you, by the way, thank you. But that's not the only one, unfortunately. Then the academic excellence plan, that was also in a separate meeting, in the CNI meeting, the curriculum instruction meeting, sorry. CCP, yeah, okay, there you go. That one was not accessible either. So what I'm trying to say, in, I guess, a roundabout way, is public documents, excuse me, can I finish? Just one second, just give me one second.
I'm not talking, I'm
Oh,
looking here.
okay, okay, sorry. So what I'm trying to say is public documents that, not minutes and not agendas, these are actual documents from staff, I guess you could say it's from staff, right? That have been presented to these two different committees, and those meetings have already passed. It's not like they haven't happened yet. Those documents are not accessible to the public.
Well, sometimes documents change after, based on what we've discussed in the minutes sometimes, in the meeting sometimes, and until they're approved. Then, once they're approved, the public does have access to them.
Okay, so the original document should still be public.
That'll be,
And
on the,
available.
yeah, it will be on the original agenda of the meeting we did. So you go to the finance property supply agenda for that meeting, and it's all there and accessible.
Okay. It
This is
hasn't
just,
been-
yeah, it's,
So,
I've given public comment.
There's differences between as well, at least in the past. When Tim was the assistant superintendent and Judy,
Okay.
not all of their presentations were linked, because typically the presentations portion of our meeting doesn't always contain items that are moving forward, like action items that are going to end up going forward. Tom's meeting is kind of set up in a way, your presentation is your entire agenda, basically. So that's why that's always been out there, because we were kind of need that ahead of time to be able to read the agenda. And the CCP committee we have the links to the action items that are available, like the policies, and when there's even things that are under the presentation, such as like the library book list, that's linked there and is there for consumption. The academic excellence plan was a presentation from Dr. Berryman that she wanted to do.
It was there?
That was, yeah, it was very great, but it wasn't an action item, so it wasn't included as a link because it was a presentation that she was presenting at the meeting. And will it be linked to the minutes? Is it linked to the minutes? So it'll be there for public consumption when the minutes of the meeting are approved. And typically the process has been for those types of things that you come to the meeting to receive the presentation, or you can listen to the recording to hear the presentation, and then at that point, once the minutes of the meeting are approved, which is approximately 2 weeks later, you can then go back and review the actual slides if you wish to do so.
So the public won't get it for 2 weeks until after it's happened, number one. And number two, board members don't have access to the documents until they're actually presented to them in the meeting. Is that what you're saying?
We don't have access to her presentation until it's presented, correct, as board members.
Okay, so
Because
how-
she's presenting us, it's not an actual document, she's presenting us with a presentation,
That's what I do.
presentation. So, that's why we don't get that ahead of time. The public, as soon as the next day, can listen to the recording for the entire presentation, and they can see the slide. That's just been the practice.
Okay. Well, in the interest of transparency, and correct me if I'm wrong, it could be, I've heard that several times now, that the new board organization and leadership, yeah, there you go, leadership, wants to be open and transparent. I would say you might want to consider, not giving any direction here, just saying you might want to consider reviewing the fact that the public doesn't get the information for at least 2 weeks afterwards, after it's even transpired and done.
Well,
And the board members don't get the information to look it over ahead of time before the actual presentation, so that they can, if they have any questions, they want to form questions, ask questions during the presentation while they have faculty and staff there. You're kind of at a disadvantage to do that.
Well, that's why the work session, they are here, so we can ask questions.
And I agree with.
I'm not saying we don't take into that consideration, but that's the whole, I mean, the committee is only a portion of the board, and the full board gets to discuss.
And I can see the point on the finance, and we're going to address that going forward, but like a presentation, like if a staff member comes to a presentation, like all of our presentations we have here tonight, we're not receiving what they're going to tell us prior to their making the presentation. Because really, Judy didn't have to put a slideshow together to do her presentation. It could have been a totally oral presentation. So a presentation is presented at the board meeting. We don't necessarily get predisposed to that.
And just to echo what he said, it was a draft until almost the end of the day. And so, the information that you put out to the public has to be true, accurate, and contextual. It cannot have, we got to fix this, we got to fix that, and then it just causes confusion. So the process does work.
And I'm trying to think here in my head, like where can we put Judy's presentation, or if there's a slide presentation before the minutes, because that's kind of where they go. But I think a great opportunity would be to link them to the board highlights, and then we post them a day or two afterwards. So we're under the highlight where we talk about Judy's presentation, the academic excellence plan, we could link that, and then it's there for the public to review the document. Perfect. All right, is that it for you guys, Dwayne? Yep, you're welcome. Dwayne?
Great. Under the 9:15 meeting, under Rachel Hudson.
I'm going to pull it up.
Okay. The regular, I'm sorry, the regular, it's going to be you.
I can't pull it up because I'm live, so
Oh, that's
you're going to
fine.
have to
I'm sorry, I thought you were.
That's, Mr. Sullivan, that's kind of why we'd like to receive these in advance, because then I'm able to kind of review that in my office without it being live, before they've been approved. And I'm certainly comfortable with, saying, you know, I'm not gonna change that without full board, let's bring it up in the meeting. I would certainly tell you that.
Well, that's why I kind of missed that step, because I take your time to tell me, to look it over, and tell me that you're not gonna do anything about it until the full board reviews it. I might as well just say it here, because the full board's here. And this is a workshop, this is where we discuss everything in the agenda before we vote on it in the following meeting. That's why I bring it up in this meeting.
Sure, it just makes it a little more difficult because I can't even see what you're asking. So, go ahead, we'll ask for Tom to pull them up on his and we'll see where we get that.
Okay, under Rachel Hutchinson, you have written twice here, spoke to the board about the ongoing state budget issues and commented on Dr.
So
Moore's
is it a
extension.
typo?
It's a,
It's
Please
written.
send it in an email.
Yeah, it's written twice. When you get into my comments, it's, I don't know if you corrected it, I might be going too fast. Okay, it says, spoke to the board about state funding with taxes. It should actually say, and state taxes. Because the with taxes just doesn't make sense.
Okay, if you have a full bunch of typos, please just
Yeah.
put them in an email.
Well,
And
this
I'll-
next one's not typos.
Okay.
Okay, so if you get down to where we voted like in item F1, general fund checks, you put no, Mr. Sullivan, actually you should be opposed, Mr. Sullivan. Because you have here in favor, which all in favor signify by saying aye, but then you have no, Mr. Sullivan. It should actually say opposed, Mr. Sullivan.
Well, you voted no.
No, I didn't vote no, I said opposed, because you say opposed, and I say opposed.
Is that not the same meeting as no?
No, because it sounds like somebody saying no, Mr. Sullivan, you're irrelevant. You get my point? Instead of opposed.
Mr. Sullivan, I have done it that way in many.
Well, no, I look back, you put nays. I did my homework, yes, you put nays.
Well, I think no is the best.
I would rather it be opposed,
Does the rest of the board feel
clear,
that way?
because when you say in favor, and then you say opposed. Nobody says nay, nobody says, aye. Well, we do say aye to his favor.
We actually say aye and no.
Yeah, there was like 4.